Welcome to the MediaCasters with your business besties, Karina Belizzi and Julie Loken. In every episode, you'll get behind-the-scenes access to experts who share their struggles and successes in podcasting, publishing, and presenting. So grab a pen, grab your bestie, and kick it with Karina and Jules.
I can't believe I'm with the famous Harry Spaight, author of Sales with Dignity. I was going to say Delivering Dignity because we were just
Selling
talking
with
about
Dignity.
Yeah.
Can I give you that title?
That
may be someone else's book.
Whose book is that? He is so famous. Like my mind goes crazy. It's because it is such a universal law of so many things. And we were just speaking about how you deliver dignity with everything you do 24/7. So excuse me for that. I'm sure you'll correct me over and over again today, but I'm so happy to be here with you, Harry. Thanks for being here.
Likewise, Julie Loken, it is an honor to be here with a super genius marketing creative guru like yourself. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk a little bit about sales and marketing. What do you say?
I say, sell me on that topic.
All right. So I'm a sales guy. You're a marketing person, right? Is that a safe place? Is that a safe starting point?
I would say I'm marketing. I would say I'm a little more publicity than marketing, but I'm a woman who dabbles in a lot of different things. So sure, safe.
Okay.
It's a safe space for
marketing, publicity, podcasting, book writing, all kinds of different things that you have going on, which is really, in a few words, how would you describe all of that?
Elevating voices of people who are wanting to make an impact in the world. All
right, good deal. So I simply help people to be better at sales.
That's it?
That's it.
Really simple.
Well, there's a lot that goes on with that, I think, because to me, sales covers a wide gamut in life. And it's not just about business, but we're selling ourselves to our families, concepts, ideas, discussions, also known as maybe a friendly argument on occasion. But, I think, people who are in sales really don't know too much about the whole marketing, publicity. They just want to go out and get business. And there's a huge disconnect there because they're not all really good at making themselves known, getting out and about, doing something in the community and sharing that with others. And then on the other side of the coin, you've got people who are, pretty good on the one to many on the marketing, and they might put out messaging on various social media and so forth, but they get all cramped up and nervous when it comes to sales. So I thought those are two different types of people that we could somehow help each other to be better at. So what do you say?
I say, let's do it. Let's kick it. But I honestly think, sometimes people, when you hear the word sales, you automatically go to that icky place. No one wants to be sold to in general, right?
Yeah.
And you're an expert on this.
Well, that is an icky place. So first of all, when you think of this icky place, what comes to mind so I can make sure I'm talking about the same thing?
Used car salesman, slick, somebody that has an agenda.
Yeah. Okay. So
I can always smell those out too.
Yeah, it's true. And there's plenty of people like that in sales, but not everyone. I'd say that is the very transactional salesperson that is selling a product or a service, and they just want the sale. They don't really care too much about after the sale. But then you have people who are in sales that are long-term, like major account sales that are really consultative, and the sale that they're involved in could take months and months, if not sometimes years, of developing the relationship with a person. So that's the type of selling I come from, where it's much more consultative, then transactional. Mm-hmm. So the transactional sale is, the mindset is I've got to close the person that's across from me, which is that icky type of sales, in my opinion, versus the type that is looking to serve the person across from you. And that to me is much more, helpful and servant minded. What do you think about those two contrasts?
Well, I think I'm of the ilk that it's always service before sales. And it is something that takes the nuance of building a true and authentic relationship. I think if you are an adult, if you've had any experiences, you can sniff out somebody that has ulterior motives. Mm-hmm. You can help me. If you can help my business, if you can enhance my life in some form or the other, it's a natural extension of what we do.
Right.
That's what I think about those. And, we all have to, whether we like it or not, we're all selling ourselves every day we wake up, selling ourselves to our partners, to our children, to our friends, to everyone around us that I'm worthy of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, totally. I think we can't forget that we're also selling ourselves to ourselves.
Oh, right. That's good.
That's one that is.
How do you do that, Harry? How do you sell? What do you tell yourself to sell yourself?
Well, that's one of those questions I'm going to say is a great question to allow me to think for a second, but it does cover a wide range of thinking, taking some time for yourself. I mean, I just read this post this morning that someone was talking about a 90-year-old guy that was exercising like he was Jack LaLanne pulling ships in the ocean in his 80s or something. But the guy was 90, swims for 30 minutes a day, and he works out, I think, for 45 minutes a day on top of that. So 90 years old, ladies and gentlemen. So, when I was thinking about that, I said, okay, I do some exercise, but I am not like that. And, the first thing I was doing is I was selling myself on, why I'm not like that. And also why I should be more like that. So I think that's part of it, is reflecting on what we read and what we hear about others, and then dealing with the, imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be like that. I mean, do you have those challenges as well?
I do and I don't. And one little thing, maybe, you may know about me. I have a master's in coaching. So this comes natural just hearing the things that you're telling me. And so many people go through life with a narrative. So many people go through life bringing on everybody else's thoughts into how they narrate their life. And it can start from childhood. It can be mom or dad. It's understanding what was that one point, maybe you're 5 or 6, where you were told you're not good enough, you're not worthy. And you could have even told it to yourself.
Right.
And how we're carrying it into our adulthood. When we recognize these things, this is when the script switches. This is when you become the person you want to be. And it is all about mindset. It's all about how we see our days. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza. He does a lot of talk about this. You hear the word manifesting, you hear the word law of attraction. If you believe that you are that person, your actions will follow. So I often do that. I have very little thought when I do things. It'd be scary. It's not till after sometimes I'm like, what did I just do?
Right.
But I do have fears. And what are my fears? Are your fears a fear of success, a fear of failure, a fear of not being heard? And once you understand it and can articulate it, I think that's so powerful. So, Harry, what are you scared of? What do you fear? What holds you back?
Well, I think part of me is that there's always people that are better, that are smarter.
Where did you hear this when you were 5 or 6? Where did you when did it start? And it could have been in grade school, it could have been a parent, but where did you start ingesting that message?
Yeah. I think it's ongoing. I don't know where
No,
it
that's not the
started, but
answer. You did not
no,
answer the question.
not an answer.
Sir.
Okay, so
Oh, you're sweating now. You're like,
yeah, the
wait, get
pressure
this
is
girl.
on. The
Mhm.
pressure is on. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really know when it started, but do I have to
Let's
actually
think.
come up with an
Yeah.
answer?
Let's think. This is a good exercise. Okay,
Okay.
so everybody is better than you. Was
Well,
it,
I'm not saying everybody is, but I think there are people that are more qualified.
do you have older brothers or sisters, or were you compared at all when you were a kid?
I think I was compared a little bit, but not really. I mean, it's nothing that I take, you know, like I was not, I mean, I didn't really feel like I didn't measure up to my sister who was like the brain
There you go.
or
There you
the
go.
kid with perfect manners that listened all the time, never got in any trouble. I
Yeah.
never really took that personally.
Well, you probably received those messages, even if they
Yeah.
were subconscious, and you started just becoming the character that you thought you were supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, so I think that probably happens like so later in life with me. It's like I have all of this knowledge that I feel like I can give to the world. And then
Mhm.
I look out at people and say, well, they're better at it. They have more to offer. And
Mm.
that has been a bit of a challenge, but
Mhm.
I've just over the last year or so, I've let go of that and just said, you know what? I have an audience. People seem to like what I'm talking about, and I'll just keep giving and see where that takes me. The worst that can happen is someone doesn't like it. But even what I'm trying to say is if one person likes it, or they say, I really enjoy your book, or I really like the post, or I really like your podcast, all of those little compliments make it worth it. And then you say, well, I'm giving something to somebody,
Mhm.
and I don't necessarily need to think that I'm not like, name a person, some sales guru. I'm not Zig Ziglar. I'm not Tom Hopkins. I'm
Why
not
aren't you?
Brian Tracy. I'm Harry Spaight.
I know, but you're comparing yourself right there
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. I do.
Mhm.
But, that's where I have to let it go and just say, I am who I am. That's the selling of to myself, right?
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah. So who are you supposed to compare yourself to?
Nobody.
Yeah.
You don't even compare yourself to the person you thought you should be right now.
Yeah.
And I did this too. And there's like ebbs and flows, but I always felt, don't be surprised. I am too much. This is the message I got. Like, I am too much. I'm too big. I'm too emotional. I'm over the top. So I really tampered down that energy and I
Mm,
tampered down the light. And so I made all the wrong decisions because I wanted just to go with the flow and make everybody else happy.
mm.
What does that end up with?
Yeah. A lot of people probably don't even care what you're doing, and you're
Nobody.
not
Nobody
happy.
cares
Yeah.
about us, really,
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
for you that are listening. But nobody
Yeah.
really cares.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's such a great point is that, and then when you think about why we hold back, like an example would be some people are very nervous about doing video,
Mhm.
right? They just don't want to create any video because they say, oh, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. But the
Mhm.
reality is, does anyone really
Mm-mm.
care?
No.
Yeah. So,
Nobody cares about us as much as we care about ourselves.
yeah. So if we just kind of let go, which is, I think it's a constant challenge for me, and I imagine others are like this, is that we just have to keep reminding ourselves that let's just do it, and we'll let the chips fall where they are, but no one's judging us. And the people that do judge us, I mean no one that really judges us matters, number one.
Mhm. You have a conversation with someone, the human brain does not have the capacity to even catalog that conversation 20 minutes after. So you're long
Hmm.
forgotten because
Yeah.
we are narcissistic beings, I believe,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
whatever's in front of us is what we're interested in. How can you think about, this person right now? If you think about it, who did you talk to like 30 minutes ago, an hour ago? You probably You're not thinking about them right now.
Right. And they're probably not thinking about me
But
right.
they might be thinking, "Oh, man, I looked so crazy in front of Harry. Oh, did I say the wrong thing in front of Harry?" But it's false. We project, we become mind readers and project
Mhm.
what we think other people are thinking. I do find that fascinating, just how we beat ourselves up. It's usually our own narrative that holds us back. It holds us back
Mhm.
from selling. It holds us back from growing our businesses. It holds us back from taking the next adventure. It leaves us not open to opportunity. And I think it's so important, especially with anyone who's an entrepreneur or has a business or in sales. You have to open yourself to opportunity. And when we are in our own heads, this is where the block comes. This is where we grow stagnant.
Yeah. Totally agree. So this idea translates well to sales, and the same as with publicity too.
Mhm,
But on which I can talk about on the sales side of things, if you're making an offer to somebody
mhm,
and you're not pushy, right? You're just offering. And if I said, "Hey, Jules, let's grab a coffee when I'm in Chicago,"
mhm,
is that offensive?
mm-mm,
Would you say I'm pushy?
mm-mm.
Right.
But
But
I'll be
if
like, "Oh, I know Harry wants to sell me, a burial plot, my funeral plot or something like that. Like, I know he wants to sell me something." No, there
yes,
is a nuance, and you really have to be, I think, and you tell me, you're the sales expert, but you again, service before sales and
right.
building that relationship and really creating a relationship that so when Harry does call us or we see him walking down the hallway, we don't like divert or not answer the phone call. We
Right.
really
Well,
want to have that relationship. Oh God,
yeah.
Harry's coming. Guys, tell him I'm
Turn
busy.
around,
Good.
pretend
Come
I'm
here.
not here,
Yeah.
block
Seriously.
me, let me hide behind you.
Hide
So
behind
now
you.
we're talking about how my wife first felt about me. But
Oh
other than
yeah.
that,
She's like, guys, tell Harry I'm busy.
all right. So you raise a very valid point.
Mhm.
So if
Thank you. Thank you,
if
Harry.
I was,
Thank you, Harry Spaight.
you're welcome. If I was reaching out to you for the first time on LinkedIn, and I said something along the lines, I enjoy your post. Would you be open to connecting? Or I like your profile. Would you be open to connecting? And then you accept, you trust me. And then I come back with, hey, I do lead gen. Would you like to have a conversation about how I can help you get more appointments? Or, hey, I do crypto. Would you like to have a conversation where I can help you?
Oh, that sounds
Well,
like every single message in my inbox.
right. Okay. So the difference is I asked you based on, and if any of those people asked me for a cup of coffee, I would know if they're only going to ask me as soon as they connect with me, they're going to lead with themselves. Then I know that if I had a cup of coffee with them, I would be stuck in prison with them as they pitch to me.
You can
And
pretend
none
your
of us
power
want that.
fails or something, your power goes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yes. So if you're leading with yourself, that's the type of person that you don't want
Mhm,
to have a coffee with.
mhm,
But if you lead with serving others and providing value, you say,
mhm,
that person is fun, they're interesting, they provide value. They probably have something they'd like me to know about, but I'm going to trust them enough that based on the experience, if they do talk about themselves or they make some kind of offer,
mhm,
I can say no and I won't feel bad.
mhm.
And that's where you have the trust in sales that you could throw out a question to somebody and allow them to say no without feeling bad, without feeling
Mhm.
guilty.
I love that because I mean, I really want to go through my LinkedIn profile right now and I am kind of getting the hang of LinkedIn and I do enjoy the connections, but I swear 95% of the messages on LinkedIn are sales. And it just, I want to go delete, 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 delete. And I might delete someone that's actually would be a valuable connection. How do you get around that?
Mm, I typically ignore them because there's so many. I give them the chance. Like somebody recently, I mean, I can look at posts. I mean, I get so many of these requests. I typically don't. I mean, my first thing is you could follow me. And I ask people to connect and follow me. But if they are clearly they're a digital marketer, lead gen, and they know nothing. They say something along the lines like, Harry, I see you're in sales or you're a sales leader. I do lead gen. Are you open to connecting? I'll typically ignore those and just delete them. If someone says they like my profile, they'd be interested in connecting with me, I might accept and then see if they come back with an automated response. I had a nice one today where someone actually thanked me and said something along those lines about getting to know each other. It's like, cool. I was still hesitant because of the number of people that that burn us. And when I reach out to others, I do the same thing. It's like, not the same thing where I'm going to pitch to them, but I just throw my invitation out and then thank them for connecting, not necessarily right there, but in time. I'll thank them, and I try to make it more of a personal experience without at all saying, look, if you need some sales coaching, I'm your guy. I would never, ever do that. So it's that trust factor. Right. So on LinkedIn and other social media, you have to, you're trusting that the person's going to do the right thing, but frequently they don't. And, especially if someone says, Harry, I'm just bringing this to the top of your inbox again. And it was like, dude, I ignored you the first two times for a reason. Now I'm just going to disconnect. And they don't care. They don't
care.
Right. They're not worried about how they look and how they, come across at all. And those of us who do worry about that, I say the people who worry about being pushy are never pushy.
Well, there comes a point where you do have to push a little bit. They have to know what you're doing, what your services or products are. So you have to be pushy in that way. But I think there has to be that gateway, and it's a dance. It's a dance.
Yeah. Well, so the word pushy, I'm going to go with assertive. And the reason I say that is because pushy to me makes people uncomfortable. And having been around pushy salespeople is like, look, I said I'm not interested. Don't keep coming at me and trying to make me feel guilty or push me into a decision. And I'll give an example. I was speaking to a person that did digital marketing and had a nice conversation. And then that person said, well, let's set up a call. And I said, no, I'm just not interested right now. Now's not good. And then they let it go and said, would you be willing to talk to my boss? And I went, sure. It's really for the experience, right? To see what they were going to do. And that person said, they gave me the hard close, totally put pressure on me, which I was uncomfortable with.
Oh, I love when they're like, maybe you should consult with your husband. There's nothing that infuriates me more.
Oh, yeah. Like you're dummy, right?
Yeah.
You don't know any better. But so that person pushed me into reviewing the contract. And I said, I'm going to do this, right? And then after a day, I said, why would I work with this person? They put me in this guilty position. And so I said, I'm not going to do this. And so the person lost the opportunity forever. They didn't just lose it that first time. They lost it for the next time. I will never do business with that person. It's just because there are too many nice people I'd rather do business with. And they laid the guilt trip on me and put pressure on me. And it's just like, You got the sale, but you also got the cancellation. And the cancellation is permanent.
Wow. That's
right?
good.
Yeah. So when people are pushy, the thing is to be assertive, to let people know what you do, to get out of your comfort zone. And when someone asks you and they say, Julie, what is it you do? You need to step up to the plate, right? You can't say, well, I do a whole bunch of things and I really don't want to get into it. It's like, okay, well, I'm giving you an opportunity. And there are people that say these things, right? Because they're awkward. They can't summarize how they serve or what they do within 30 seconds. They'll say things like, I do a lot of different things. And then they're talking themselves out of an opportunity. So being concise and assertive is okay. And it's helpful, but you have to step up to the plate.
Stepping up to the plate. And it is an art and it's a craft that you have to work on, I would believe, because someone told me like the other day that, Julie, you're great. You have a lot of people that I'm not talking social media, but follow, who are interested, you're having conversations with. They said, and this is one person's opinion, so I'm not sure I agree with this, but that I don't close the deals.
Yeah. Well, this is a huge misunderstanding, I think, in sales. Is that people refer to people as good closers. And they do that because they close business. But you don't have to be a good closer to get business. You just have to ask for the order. You don't have to sort of like, I use the analogy all the time about the server in the restaurant. Is the server that sells a lot of desserts a good closer for selling more desserts than anyone else? Or is that person advertising the desserts differently, creating a need differently than maybe someone that says, yeah, right? Where you have this enthusiasm, like you're probably not hungry anymore, but we have a killer dessert. And I'm telling you, we'll split it up. You can take the rest home, but it's something virtually everyone loves. And then when they try it, and you'll thank me for it. And if not, I'll take it off the check. Right? You throw out something like that, who's going to say no to it?
Nobody.
Right? So
and nobody's going to say, yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah. And then you have people that will say, like another server will say, well, you're probably too full for dessert, right? Okay. Well, yeah, I'm too full. You already put the words in my mouth. I don't need dessert. You made
semantics.
Yes. So which one's closing? Are either of them closing, or is someone just building more anticipation and excitement?
Yeah. And I see another really big problem with people of these days is that everyone is looking for that instant gratification. I'm going to make the sale today. I'm going, they don't have that patience to work through the relationship, through the cycle of building up sales, of really creating an unforgettable connection and pitch. They just want it now. It's got to be now, or you're going to lose it. The fear of missing out, it's going away. And that gives me anxiety.
Yeah. So what gives you anxiety about that?
Well, because I don't like to miss out on anything.
Okay.
So.
So this offer is only valid today. That one works with you?
It does.
Oh boy. Hey,
most
Julie.
of the time. I've got a lake to sell you in Tennessee.
Well, having come from corporate sales where we had to close business for the month and close it for the quarter, there was a lot of people that use the line that this offer is only good until the end of the month or the end of the quarter. And then we were going back to the client, on the 2nd and 3rd and 4th and the 7th and the 15th of the following month, giving them the same deal.
Wow.
So buyers know that the offer that's valid today is going to somehow magically resurface again in the future.
I kind of fall for that, but it's true. And it goes back to your integrity, but understanding, and I believe unpacking what the vision is for you, for your business, for your goals as a professional, understanding the end game and unpacking it from there, and then making actions in alignment with who you are and what you ultimately want to succeed with.
Yeah, totally
Would you
agree.
say that's true?
Yep. So like if you probably work with some coaches, and a coach is going to help a person reach some kind of goal or overcome some kind of challenge in their life.
They would ask, well, I'm thinking of one client in particular,
Okay.
and I'm going to share this with this person. It would be, I want to make more money. How can I get more money? I need more money.
Okay.
And that question typically, I'm not going to say drives me crazy, but
yeah, because they're missing the point. Sort of like opening up, right? It's like, well, what is your value that you have for the market?
Right.
So if someone doesn't have a good answer for that, that's where they need to start. Because just the fact that you want money and need money, I mean, what is the percentage of businesses that fail within the first year?
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, if it's 50%, I believe, is the first year, and after 2 years, it's like another huge percentage. And then for 5 years, I think 90% of the businesses that started 5 years earlier are out of business. So these are questions that, where I was going with that is the coach may ask, when would you like to get started? And that's just asking that question. When would you like to get started? Someone could say, well, I'd like to get started today, or I'd like to get started 6 months from now. Helps determine, what your close is, which is, I can help either time.
Do you know what I say? I usually say, go think about it.
Yep.
Don't make a decision. Just think about it, talk to whatever, sit on it. And you have my number if you're interested.
Yeah. Okay.
This is probably why I'm not known as a closer.
Well,
And I'm
that's
not a
okay.
chaser. I don't chase after people.
Yeah.
If people want to work with me, my record stands for itself.
Yeah. I mean, so there's nothing wrong with that. But I think where people fail is that they don't circle back in a period of a month or
true.
60 days.
I will follow back. I'm circling back.
Right.
I love that word. Circling back.
So it's just circle. I'm making circles. I'm dancing in circles.
Circling back.
Yes. But see, that's a nice way of just staying top of mind. And you can, just have
you
a
have
conversation.
To be in their ecosystem. This is something I always know, and this may sound salesy, if you will, but striking while the iron's hot. I know when people are very interested, and I make every effort to be in their ecosystem when this is on their mind. Just as we went back, people don't remember us 20 minutes after we talk to them. I know when people are super interested or need that help, I am there. I'm giving them service before sales. I give them the opportunity. Just think about it. Sometimes I will throw out discounts and stuff, but not really, because I don't like to be that person. I know my worth.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I'm worth $1 million.
Yes,
just kidding.
Exactly.
I don't charge $1 million.
But it's a great approach, and people are not going to make the decision on the first call. And when they do, they're probably going to change their mind. And they're making a decision for coaching that's going to be for months and spend thousands of dollars, and they do that on one call. I mean, the expectations or whatever it is, or any purchase of significance may take some time for them to think about it. And sometimes it's months, sometimes it's years. But thinking that it's only going to happen that time I ask and I have to close strong, why jeopardize the future opportunities for a lifetime of sales with that person because you want money today? Right. When you need sales, that's clearly going to shine through, and it doesn't need to be that way. So it's just like offering the dessert. If they're full, they don't need it now, doesn't mean the next time they come in the restaurant, you're not going to offer dessert again.
Speaking of desserts, this is such a treat. This is such a treat to have this conversation with you, Harry. And I guess,
yeah.
I just don't. I feel like I can smell desperation on people's words. So I think that would be maybe my last thought. People can smell when you're desperate, and
totally.
Nobody likes to do business with someone that's desperate.
Yes, and it will come through. You cannot hide desperation.
Right. But you know who's not desperate?
Harry Spaight. Not desperate. And well, I'm not desperate.
And Julie Loken.
The sales will come. Serve first, the selling will follow.
I love that. You are such a gem. You really are. And the advice that you do give, people don't know this sort of thing. So everybody I talk to, I'm going to recommend your book and just hand it out on the streets and sing your praises because you're amazing. So thanks for this.
You're too nice. Harry. And I think the same of you. So it's the Mutual Admiration Society.
Oh, I love that.
Got a great approach, very low key.
We're low key.
Serving.
We're low key, but we're kind of high key too.
Low key, high maintenance.
Yeah, maybe that's it. High maintenance.
It's been fun, Jules.
We got to do this again.
Jules.
No rules, Jules, and scary Harry.
All right.
Thank you, Harry Spaight.
It's been fun, Jules. Thank you. You're the best.
You're the best.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Media Casters. You can keep this conversation going and kick it with Karina and Jules in live office hours each week. Visit themediacasters.mn.co to sign up. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe whenever you listen. Let's kick it.